The Thor Fairhammer Fusion calendar is upon us. You know the drill. Let's go ahead and do this, man. What kind of resources do you want to have stockpiled and ready to go to partake in this fusion? That's how we always start off these videos. First of all, 1200 plus gems. This is because you're going to require extra energy towards the end of the fusion to actually be fully leveling up and fully ascending up all of your champion components, right? All of the epic champ components. You're going to be able to take them up to level 50 and fully ascend them up. So a little bit of extra gems more than usual is probably going to be required as a get-go. 30 million silver. This is just a starting point as like a bare minimum, else you might really struggle for silver to spend during the 3 artifact enhancement events. Those can be expected to be costing 15 million silver and up each, and of course there's 3 of them, so 30 million silver going into the fusion is going to help you out quite a bit. It's just a baseline, and then hopefully you can earn some more silver throughout the fusion, but yeah, 30 mil is a safe baseline to go with. And then of course, because our fusion component champions are void and you're going to have to be max ascending these, you're going to need 80 greater void potions and 24 superior void potions, as well as a whole bunch of arcanes. Mostly going to focus on the voids, because of course the Void Keep is opening this Sunday. So make sure that you have some maybe extra gems saved up, some extra energy ready to pump on the Sunday to top up your Void Potion supply if you have not done that already. Hopefully you've got these Void Potions ready to go, and that is all handled. Okay, that is all for the baseline requirements. Next up, we've got to cover the most terrifying events, and these are always going to be the shard pulling events. These events, honestly, are especially spooky during this Thor event. We've, of course, got the Champion Cheers tournament just all up and over here. We then have the Summon Rush a little bit further along, all the way down here. But then we have a bonus, or perhaps a slightly more terrifying Summon Rush event right towards the end that actually provides up to 50 fragments. Now, I would not recommend at all holding onto your shards for this sort of emergency Summon Rush event. There's some people speculating that, ooh, you could get away with getting all 50 fragments, for just pulling like 10 sacred shards or something, you know? So you could just save all of your sacreds, skip both of these events like so, and then just pull like 10 sacreds at the end and get all 50 fragments. Yeah, we have no idea that it's going to be as cheap or as efficient as just 10 sacreds right at the end. It could be 20 sacreds, man, for all we know. It just depends how much how cruel Plarium want to be towards the end of the fusion for the people who are panicking and maybe missed some events during the calendar, right? Say you missed a couple of events randomly. Yeah, this Summon Rush event, not to be relied upon, in my opinion. I think you're much better off playing it safe and just picking up all of the fragments required during the fusion event calendar itself. Now, this Champion Chase tournament right here, there is going to be a 2x Sacred Shard event going on. There's also going to be a 10x chance to pull Freya during this event from your Sacred Shards. And yet, unless you're sitting on a stockpile of like 25 or 30 plus Sacred Shards, you probably don't want to be pulling your Sacred Shards during this event. People are very nervous in the community in general about pulling their Sacred Shards, and the reason for that is we know for a fact a Freya Deck of Fate event is coming up at some point in the future, and people heavily suspect that Plarium are doing all they can to milk you of your Sacred Shards, okay? So just be very careful with this. You do have the option of pulling your Sacreds in this event anyway. If you do, it's probably going to set you back something like 10 Sacred Shards, maybe a little bit less if you get super lucky and you pull all kinds of legendaries. That's great, you can get through the event quite efficiently that way, but if you don't, you might be pulling like 14 or 15 Sacred Shards if you get very unlucky indeed. And so, oi. Honestly, for this event, I'm gonna go ahead and BAM! Recommend that you pull, I don't know, as many Ancients as you need to pull. But before that even, make sure that you're doing all kinds of champion fusions in your portal building to make up some points that way. Pull as many mystery shards as you can to just get some points that way. Remember, you can pull rare champions from your mystery shards and just get you some free and easy points towards a Champion Chase tournament. That way as well, they can do a job for you, right? And then move on to your ancient shards, spend some gems even to just buy more ancient shards if you have to, and just get through it that way. That's the way that you can do it, or you can expect to spend, I don't know, 10 sacreds at a baseline, maybe more if luck is not on your side. And then as for the Summon Rush event a little bit further on, as usual, that is going to be your standard 6 Sacred Shards Summon Rush event. And you know what, for the bottom right one as well, we're just going to go ahead and over this Summon Rush, it could be any amount of sacreds. It'd be really interesting to see how many people save for this and if it pays off for them. Maybe it'll end up being cheaper than doing it the other way, but for me, playing safe is just picking up the fragments along the way. Now for the actual order in which you want to be blasting the events. Well, first of all, on day 1, we of course have the champ training event right here, which is, to be honest, what you want to be blasting right away. And that is because the overlap between the Spider Training Tournament and the Dungeon Divers event only begins in the middle of tomorrow. And so this is the kind of area where you want to be blasting the hell out of the Spider Tournament so that it is in unison with the Dungeon Divers event right here. So champ training, day 1, start handling that right now if you are not already. Now is the time to do that, and then blasting the hell out of the Spider Tournament. You want to farm your way towards the fragments, like, I don't know, 60 or 70% of the way, and then you can finish that up in, in the good old Dragon Tournament right here, which also continues on as the Dungeon Divers event comes to a conclusion right there. So, decent overlap for the first Dungeon Divers event. That is lovely to see. You get a little bit of a gap here between the Dragon Tournament and the next Dungeon Divers, which starts something like this. So you get a little bit of a break here between the 9th and the 10th, during which, by the way, I'm just not even looking at the artifact enhancement events, but you can just kind of do these whenever. You might want to do them as soon as they come up. You might want to do them towards the end if you're a newer player, just in case you pull any juicy artifacts, some good 6 stars and stuff like that, that maybe you want to roll up during the artifact enhancement event that you pull from things like the Spider Tournament and stuff like that. So it doesn't make a huge difference, but yeah, I'm not going to color those in because, frankly, the artifact enhancement events should be very, very easily take care of-able as long as you've got the silver stockpiling ready to go. So again, towards the end of the Dragon Tournament, we've got a little bit of overlap here with the next Dungeon Divers event as well. Then we have another break in the middle of that one until the Fire Knight Tournament begins right here, as you can well see. And then in the middle of the Fire Knight Tournament, there's just another little break here, then some more overlap, and all of this is just to say is just try to do the grinding in the tournaments towards, like in the Fire Knight Tournament, for example, you might just want to get around halfway or 60% towards the fragments before it gets to like the middle of the 13th. Then you can take a little bit of a break, do some other things, take care of champion training and that kind of thing in the middle, and then finish up the rest of the Fire Knight Tournament as the next Dungeon Divers event starts down here on the 14th. You know, just try to be as efficient as you possibly can, and always double dipping into events whenever you can. That kind of goes without saying. We've also got some Ice Golem action over here as well. That also overlaps perfectly with the 3rd Dungeon Divers, so you're free to basically go ham as hell from the 15th onwards towards the end of the Dungeon Divers down here. So that is lovely. Artifact enhancement, we've already taken care of all of these. Hopefully, there is, of course, 3 artifact enhancement events, so 45 million silver would be the safest amount of silver that you can go into this event with, but again, 30 is what we're going to go ahead and consider the minimum. And, of course, the classic arena takedowns, which, again, should be pretty easy. Like, these are classically pretty simple to get done. Just set a very, very weak arena defense and just farm the wins. And don't worry too much about like winning the tournament or whatever. Who the hell cares about that? And yeah, to be honest, I feel like the biggest event here that can easily trip people up is going to be the Champion Chase Tournament itself. Now, there are some caveats to whether or not you want to be pulling your sacreds here that I haven't gone into just yet. So you know what? Let's talk about some of those options right there, man. I'm just going to wipe the map just a little bit clean so we have like a fresh way of talking about this event right here. And that is because, okay, first of all, right, I think that you've got a few options as to how you actually want to approach this 2x Sacred Shards Champ Chase Tournament right here. The first option is quite simple. If you're only sitting on 5 or 6 Sacred Shards, you definitely then want to save them for the Summon Rush, right? You've saved up enough resources to try and get yourself through the Thor Fusion, and hopefully you've got enough things like Mystery Shards, Fusions, and Ancient Shards ready to go to get you through the Champion Chase, and you definitely do not want to pull any Sacreds during this Champion Chase Tournament. Option number 2 for this Champion Chase Tournament is you're sitting on somewhere between 10 and 15 Sacred Shards, and then at that point, I might say just pull the Sacreds during this Champ Chase Tournament anyway, because, well, if you're going to spend 6 Sacreds during the Summon Rush event, you might end up in a place where, again, you're just not going to have the Sacred Shards ready in time to deal with the Freya Deck of Fate event. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's a bit of a gamble because we have no idea when the Freya Deck of Fate event is going to show up, and so maybe you want to hold on to the Sacreds, maybe you just want to spend them in the Champ Chase Tournament here and just try your luck. That's such a coin toss that, honestly, I can't recommend what you do either way, but pulling is an option. And then we go back in the other direction if you're sitting on like 20 plus Sacred Shards, where I think I'd recommend at that point just not spending secrets at all again on this event. Don't even consider it, because to be honest, if you only have to spend 6 secrets again during the summon rush, then you're probably sitting on enough secrets in your stockpile that maybe you could save up enough before the Deck of Fate for Freya shows up that you could actually take part in that event. Now, maybe you don't care at all about Freya and you just want to pull your secrets anyway. That's also an option for as well. But all I'm saying is really, really give a lot of consideration to what you're going to do with your secrets and how committed you are to getting both Thor and Freya during the upcoming events, during this fusion and the events in the coming weeks before you decide to pull your secrets in this event. It's a very, very weird one. It's a tough position to be in for everybody. Yeah, the best I can do is say, use your own judgment and think long and hard, man. Another way of looking at it is that the average Sacred Shard pull in this Champion Chase tournament is going to be worth about 280 tournament points. Just on average, based on like the percentages of the pulls and the amount of points that you get for different rarities of pulls, that's 280 tournament points per Sacred. Compared to the Summon Rush event, where a Sacred Shard is worth, is it like 500? Or is it, I think it's 500 Summon Rush event points, which of course is a huge, huge step up. You tend to get a lot more out of your Sacreds in Summon Rush than you do out of Champion Chase, even when there is a 2x going on in Champion Chase. And alright, I'm going to switch back to the good old former map. What do you guys think? Are you going to be pulling your Sacreds during the Champion Chase tournament? Are there any kind of like little efficiency bits or pieces that I've missed here during this calendar? Do let me know. It's always interesting to hear. And yeah, are you going for the Thor fusion? It's kind of funny, man. I feel like the longer the build-up has gone on leading up to this Thor Fair Hammer fusion, and the more we've seen of Thor on the test server and how his kit operates with all of its intricacies and stuff like that, the more people have started to get kind of excited to get this Thor fusion done, whereas when he was first announced, he seemed like a little bit of a potential write-off and people were just gonna skip. Not so much anymore, man. Hey, let me know. For now, thanks for watching, guys. And hey, remember, we've got our sweet, juicy little promo link down below at the top of the video description box, man. Click on that link to create a new raid account and get yourself 2 free epic champions, one of which is a Rector Drath when your account hits level 25. You also pick up Tagore along the way at account level 15. It's a damn good beginner promo link. Just make sure that you've logged out of Plarium Player before clicking on that promo link so that you create a new, fresh Plarium ID when you make that new account and you actually get your hands on all of these beginner rewards. Alright, thanks for watching, guys, and I'm going to catch all of you all. Stay tuned later, man.